Concern is growing worldwide after reports that India has imposed an internet blackout throughout the state of Punjab. Dozens of arrests have been made amid a crackdown on Sikh activists. Joining us now to talk about this is Jindi Singh with Khalsa Aid Canada. Thanks so much for joining us on the program, Jindi.
Thank you for having me.
Jindi, there are thousands of Canadians there right now in Punjab. Can you tell us how is this impacting them and what can Canada do to help?
So these mass arrests have occurred, as you mentioned, because of Sikh youth activists who've been working quite diligently in Punjab, raising rights about Sikhs in Punjab, as well as the rights of the state, such as water issues and other issues around, the progress of the Punjab state and the drug abuse issue there. And to have them all rounded up has been quite a shock. What we're finding right now is a lot of information coming out. It's confusing. We can't get hold of loved ones in Punjab because the internet is down. India, like many other countries, jumped, straight to cell phones. There's not a lot of landlines, so it's extremely difficult to get hold of people. Khalsa Aid itself, we have operations in India, and it's been hard getting hold of our team and to talk to them about any impacts they're having, as well as what's happening on the ground there.
And can you describe to us what you're feeling and other Canadians likely with similar feelings who have family and friends in Punjab and, as you mentioned, the internet blackout, so I guess communication might be difficult there, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, we're quite concerned. I mean, the timing has been such that the state waited for the G20. There was a G20 meeting in Amritsar that I believe finished yesterday. Tomorrow is the kind of remembrance or death anniversary for Sidhu Moosewala, who was a very popular singer who was murdered last year, and his family had organized what's called a barsi in their village, and there was expected to be a large number of people coming there. And it seems that the attempt of arresting all these Sikh youth activists has been to create a chill effect on that, as well as curtailing, the rights of, these individuals, the freedom of speech. For myself, someone who grew up, out in the West, but watching what happened in Punjab during the 80s and 90s with fake encounters, massive police presence across the state, we're seeing reminiscence of that today, and it does cause a lot of concern. The police have been doing flag marches through villages. Certain areas have had a ban of 4 or more people being allowed to gather, and as you mentioned, the internet's been cut. So for us sitting here, there's almost a complete blackout outside of what journalists are telling us in Punjab.
And Jindi, you touched on it briefly. Can you bring us up to speed with why this is happening and I guess the lead up into this moment?
So there's been a lot of kind of vocal criticism of the government in India within Punjab. A lot of the Punjabi youth have been quite active. So some of that work has been in reducing trying to reduce the drug problem that's in Punjab. And there seems to be a general vacuum in the leadership in Punjab. And it's the youth that has picked up on this, and they're the ones now being rounded up. Some are on the run, and it's very difficult to know who to believe as to what's happening. But it's obviously has an impact on us out here in Canada, because we have family and friends, we have associates in Punjab. That's our ancestral home, and to know there's a complete blackout there is quite shocking for us.
And you mentioned, with regards to safety and the youth, and how concerning is this when it comes to, just the lack of information, but also what could be happening there with limited information trickling through?
I think historically it was the youth that was targeted during the 80s and 90s, but by the state. The young men were predominantly the ones who were rounded up and killed. And now that they're the focus again, it's the Sikh youth who are the focus of the state's kind of overreach, I would say, in trying to curtail their freedom of speech. I would say that is a massive concern for us, that the youth isn't targeted again, and we don't have, what we call fake encounters like we had before, where someone would be murdered and it would be staged as a fake encounter. I mean, just last week, a few police officers were sentenced to jail for conducting these fake encounters about 30 years ago.
And Jindi, the World Sikh Organization of Canada has condemned what it calls draconian security operations in Punjab. NDP federal leader Jagmeet Singh has also issued a similar statement. Are you calling on other Canadian leaders like the Prime Minister to do the same? And what would you like to see from the federal leaders?
I think I'll be very frank. It's always difficult for Canadian politicians, especially with our kind of Indo-Pacific strategy and a need to have a trade deal with India. But I have been quite heartened to see that politicians actually, if you look on Twitter, politicians across the board, whether they're Liberal, NDP, and Conservative, have all talked about their concern about this internet blackout and what's happening in Punjab right now. So it's quite heartening to see that, and I certainly think that they should be more vocal and aware of what's happening there and the impacts that has on Sikhs who live here in Canada.
Jindi Singh, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.